India's biggest food leaders, best food philosophies, genius culinary minds converge right here.
My guest today is Atul Kochhar.
Welcome to Secret Sauce.
Atul, thank you so much for speaking with us. So tell me about when you started out. I mean, obviously technology or food was not, I mean, I know you belong to a family of food
Cooks,
people.
yes.
Yeah, or cooks or caterers and
That's
restaurant.
right.
So tell us about when you started getting interested in the world of food and how did you?
I would say at very young age. My father had a small catering business and my grandfather, my nana, was a baker. So I saw these two old men doing their work really well. And mum was a great chef, cook, home cook, not chef, home cook. And then my sisters, God had given me 4 sisters, so I felt like I had 5 mothers.
Okay.
So all these 5 mothers were incredible cooks, to be honest. So I enjoyed food at home, and there was always a kind of element that mom and dad involved us in household chores, and one of them was cooking. So I got into food very early. And
What age would that be?
I would say good about 10, 12 years old, and we were already peeling potatoes and peeling garlic for my mom. When it was season to make mango achar, amka achar, then help them cut that. Mind your fingers, but you know.
And this is something that you gravitate towards. It was not like you were asked to come in and say, okay,
No, I
now
gravitated
beta
to it
cut
because
the.
I think I enjoyed it because after 4 girls, I was the only boy in the house. So the 4 girls were doing, how can I be left behind? So I need to do that. I noticed that other boys weren't doing, but I was interested in that. And then slowly, my little brother, who was 4 years younger to me, he also got in. So it was family doing it, and we all enjoyed. And then we lived part of our life in Uttar Pradesh, where making your own papad during the holy season is a big tradition. You know, using the rice or sago pearls, you boil them and flavor them, and then sun dry them, and then pack them in airtight tins and keep them for the whole year. So those things I learned very firsthand by doing it with them. And I think that slowly each and everything which I picked up, it made me get into food world in more intense way. And when it came to choose the career, when everyone was choosing to be a doctor or an engineer, I was thinking of becoming a chef. I was thinking of going to hotel school. I still remember, though I was preparing to get into medical school, and the teacher who was giving the private tuition to us, everyone was saying, I'm going to go to Mahatma Gandhi, or I'm going to AIMS, and I'm going to go to this. And he asked me, what do you want to do? I said,
So
actually,
at
you
this
know
time,
what?
were you in Jamshedpur or some?
I was in Jamshedpur.
Okay.
So I remember clearly my answer that I said, no, actually, I know I'm doing this because everyone is doing it, so I'm into it. But I actually want to go to hotel school. And his words are still crisp and clear in my mind. Oh, so you want to do a job of cup plate, cleaning cup and plate? I said, oh, that's one way to put it. It's demoralizing, but I'll take it. And I moved on, and I went to hotel school. I went to Chennai, and
But were your parents okay with it? How
my
did they-
parents were. I have to say that I was blessed with very open-minded parents, and my father had this view that do what makes you happy every day, because it's not happening for a day. It's going to happen every day in your life. Whichever profession you pick up, you make sure you wake up with a smile that you're going to work. If you're going to crib about it, you might as well don't do it.
But was there a feeling, for instance, that this is a profession that might not reward you economically versus what everyone else was doing?
So, you know, at that age, I wasn't very savvy, let's put it this way. I didn't think of so many financial rewards, but I thought of what will make me happy. And I think that mattered most. And I look back and think, thank God I took this, because this makes me happy most. Had I been a doctor, I have to say that I would have been one sorry doctor. I don't think I would have made any patients happy. So thank God, you know, those people are healthy because of somebody else. But I can feed them good food and nurture their bodies. That's
Right.
the way for me to look at it. I think food makes me happy. It's the thought of seasons, it's the thought of ingredients, it's the thought of how it's been grown, organic or unorganic, I don't know. That is a debate for some other day. But I much prefer to be in the food world than anywhere else.
Right. So tell us, and you applied for hotel management, you reached Chennai. So how was the selection process? Because many chefs I've met like you have always found that a very interesting and a memorable.
While I was selecting, my family has got a Punjabi heritage, and I was born and bred in Jamshedpur, which was in Bihar those days. So when I was choosing my colleges, so I asked my dad, what should I do? He said, you know what, you're Punjabi, so you go to North India all the time. You don't want to be in North India. You know the culture and the cuisine. You lived in East India, so you don't want to go to Calcutta. I would suggest either Mumbai, where you haven't been and you don't know the culture, or Chennai. And third one, whichever you want to put it. So I put Chennai first, and then I took Mumbai, and then I think I put third Delhi. I said, okay, if I get Delhi, I'll take it. But luckily, I got my first choice, and my father was more happy than I was, I remember. He said, you know, that will really open up many doors for you. You will learn so many new things. So when I landed there, that was anticlimax because I didn't speak the lingo. I didn't know how to hail a taxi, how to communicate to people. So first 3 months were very, very tough. And I spoke to my dad. I said, what do I do? He said, no, stick it up. You're there. You got to do it. Nothing doing. You will learn. Make an effort to learn the language. So, yeah, fair enough. I should do that. And I did pick up enough language to live there. And as and when there was college used to break for summer vacations and all that, I found myself actually not going home. I used to find inviting myself to some friend's house in Kerala or Andhra Pradesh somewhere, or even Bangalore region. So I learned a lot by being around my South Indian friends. And when I started cooking, I remember after that I got selected in Oberoi School to do my kitchen management training program there, which I consider myself to be very fortunate because I do believe that's one of the best training programs in the country at the moment. And I remember after my first posting, I came back to Delhi and I was cooking for a French chef who was visiting, and he had lived in India for some time. His wife was Indian. So when I cooked for him, and he said, cook anything you want. So I cooked him a 3-course meal. And he said, you know what, Atul? Your food is lovely, but you're way ahead of time and you're fusing flavors of India. Nobody will understand you and people will hate you for that. I was too young to understand that depth that time, but I said, okay, but this is how I like to cook and this is how I want to continue. But I realized that till date, we don't have Indian restaurants in India. We have Punjabi restaurants, we have South Indian restaurants, we have Gujarati restaurants. We have Indian restaurants only outside India. So that defines it, because I was cooking with Indian flavors. So I was taking podi from South India, and I was taking rajma from North India, and I was taking mustard from East India, and mixing, fusing them, and creating the dishes which I liked, the flavors I curated that time. And I think that's what he was referring to. And he also said that if you go out of India, your food will be appreciated. And I think I took that advice a bit too seriously.
Right. So, you know, you said that the Oberoi School was a defining experience in some ways, I mean, the management. What did you learn? I mean, when you look back, what are the two or three things that have stayed behind?
So one of the best things that happened, I remember the trainer there was, he should have been in the army, to be honest, Mr. Arun Agarwal. I'm sure this name will come across many times. Bless him, I love him, adore him, like a teacher, mentor, everything. He asked us a question. We were 12 of us. We were called the dirty bunch, the dirty dozen. So he asked us a question that you are here in this program. What do you want to become? So somebody said, I want to be a pastry chef. And somebody said, I want to be a continental chef. Some said Indian chef. I can't remember what I said, but he said, okay, all 12 of you, get out of the class. Go there, 5 minutes, rethink and come back. Rethink and came back. I said, is the mind cleared? I said, cleared. What do you want to become? So some people said the right answer, some didn't. But his final message was, the guys, you have come to this program to be great cooks. We want you to learn about each and every ingredient you can get your hands on. You can get the information about. So the moment you become ingredient-based chef, late in life, you will realize, you will understand that what you want to be or how you want to cook. That'll be your personal expression. And those were golden words. They were said very casually. But that kind of got embedded in my psyche, and I kept that with me, and I really exploited that. I went out and I trained in every cuisine that Oberoi could offer me to train in, or anywhere else in the world if I could get chance to, or if there was a visiting chef, I would cling on to him to learn from them. And that really helped me to be who I am today. So I became an ingredient-based chef.
So you said that you were, working with different restaurants in the Oberoi, and you worked in the Oberoi till '94.
That's right.
And that's when you went abroad. So what were some of the more defining experiences then? I mean, I'm assuming this was a tough time for you relatively, because you obviously were lower down the pecking order.
Yes.
You were trying to, and you also wanted to do different things.
True.
All at one time.
Absolutely. So there were those experiences are not in the bad way. Even if they were bad, I look back on them as my strength, to be honest. So, for example, a very tiny example, attention to detail matters. That was one big thing. So I was working under a chef in the Dhawan, and that time I was responsible for coffee shop kitchen, and coffee shop kitchen people had to pack the fruit baskets for the rooms. Those days, a beautiful fruit basket used to go, and the guy who was packing it, I briefed him that these are the fruits I want, and he said, he did ask me clearly that how you want me to pack it. So I showed him one, and I didn't realize that a blunder I had made, and it's going to become kind of a punishing crime, to be honest, for me. And chef just walked through, and he saw the basket. He said, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "Chef Atul taught me to how to do it." Okay, call your chef. So I was summoned, and chef looked at it. He said, "Atul, tell me what's wrong with this." I then spotted. I did spot that what I had done wrong. So there was one of the chikus, which should be on the top of the basket. It had gone down, and when you put the cling film, it was getting smushed. And that's the wrong thing. You can't put soft fruit and the hard fruit on top. So very basic thing, really basic thing. And chef said something which is kind of still here, and I use that word now. He said, "Common sense is not very common." And that really woke me up. I said, absolutely right. You are spot on, man. I should have thought about it. And everything I do now, kind of that word just resounded in me that, am I doing the right thing? And that 25, 30 years later, I still am practicing that.
Right.
So that was one part. And then also working in butchery. Again, a very dirty experience from a cook's point of view, because those days things were not hygienical, not that clinical and all that. But again, we had some amazing chefs who were very strict, very, very strict. So this time this was a German chef, and he was giving the time factors to us that when you come in the morning, you have 2,000 chickens, you have to process them within X amount of time, in the X amount of time. And we were always behind the schedule, we always got told off. And to be able to follow through, and that was another lesson I realized, that every kitchen has a schedule, and if you don't follow through, it's going to be a problem towards the end. And then I landed a lot of kitchens in trouble because we were slow in doing the work we were doing. I was the leader of that. I took the blame. I took the punishment as well. But I came back learning very quickly. So all those tiny experiences, if you don't make mistakes, you will never learn. That is also one thing. So I was
What's the worst mistake that you've made?
What's the worst? Gosh, I have to. You will make me share that. You'll make me share that. So kitchen disaster luckily didn't happen in India, but it happened in the UK. I was cooking in Tamarind that time, and it was Diwali, and there was some club of Indian women club, and they wanted to hold a Diwali function at the restaurant. So we made the menu very proudly, and mulgathwani was the soup. I knew that I make the best mulgathwani in the world, which I still did. And when it came to just about the serving time, the lady came and asked me, he said, "So how did you make the mulgathwani soup?" So I told her the process. I said, "Very easy, Anna. This is the recipe I followed at Oberoi, and always fantastic." She tasted it, said, "It tastes fantastic, but tell me the recipe how you made." I started, you start with onions, and then you add a little bit of ginger garlic, you saute that, curry powder, saute that, and then you add some rice, and then you add some chicken stock. She just went quiet, and her face went white. I realized the menu is vegetarian. I was like, oh my God. So she smiled. She said, "Listen, none of them are serious vegetarians in there, so it's okay. But chef, you should have thought about it." That was the biggest blunder. And actually, I was brave enough to go and apologize to all the ladies before I served the soup. I said, "I'm really sorry. Massive blunder. If you want, I will not serve you that. I'll cook something very quickly different and give you that." So most of them said, "No, it's okay. Just give it to us. It's okay." A couple of ladies said, "No, we are strong vegetarian. We'll not take that." So yeah, I also learned if you make a mistake, accept it. There's no point hiding or fighting it, because you'll make it even worse. So being humble and being gracious and saying, "Yeah, my fault." I learned from it, and I never made that mistake ever again.
Right. So kitchens are very high pressure environments. I mean, whether it's a small one or a big one. So do you have like a set of mantras or something which help you keep calm and stay focused?
One thing again, it's...
And creative at the same time.
Yeah. So again, through the experience I've seen, when things start going wrong, And if you are the leader, if you are the boss, if you lose your head, others will panic. But if you keep your head, even if others are panicking, you can handle them. And I have experimented both. I have panicked, I have gone angry, so I saw everyone is angry and everyone is throwing things, and the kitchen was a mess. We couldn't serve the diners.
When did this happen? Or many times?
It happened a few times.
Okay.
Let's put it this way, it happened in Oberoi, it happened in Tamarind, it happened in early days of Banaras as well. But now I keep my cool. And I just don't get angry, I don't lose my cool. I say, guys, let's get on. The show must go on, and we cannot let our diners down. We have to do it. If something has gone wrong, fine. Put that aside. Let's quickly think of our feet that how we can deal with it, what we can give them in return, or how we can make their experience more pleasurable. They are here for a special night, and we have to make sure that happens. And I think that's the only way. The moment the leader panics, it's like army. You know, when you're having a war, and if you shoot the colonel and colonel starts panicking, the other army will suddenly drop the weapons, and I cannot let that happen in my side. So even if I'm shot, I'm cut, I'm wounded, I will carry on.
So, you know, your first, when you were first, you awarded the Michelin star,
Yes.
and you were 31 at that time. So, till then, I guess, you led your professional life, or maybe even personal life, in a certain way, based on principles that had been built up over time. Were you tempted to change after that?
No, not really. Nothing has changed in my life, to be honest. You know, one of the most important thing, people ask me that after getting a Michelin star, did your food change? I said, it has evolved, but change, I don't know, because...
No, but did you change the way you do things, your leadership style, your interactions with people? Because you felt that in order to protect what you had got, maybe you needed to do more.
I would say if there was an evolution in my nature or my own character, it would be part of it. But I didn't go out of my way to change anything. I'm not that kind of person. I have never thought that I have to live a different persona. So I've always found that, and trust me, I've tried. I don't want to imitate anyone. I don't want to pretend to be somebody else who I am not. I want to be who I am. And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad, because it's very difficult to be somebody else.
Yeah, but and yet there is the pressure of retaining what you've got.
Definitely.
And so how did you, I mean, was that an issue at all? Or you said, no, all of this doesn't matter, I'm shutting it out and let me focus on...
No, so part of that, and part was making myself understand that if they have given me a star, they must have kind of seen the qualities what I have. The person I am, the way I cook, and the way I conduct my kitchen. Based on that, they have given it. Maybe 2 years later, they think I'm not the same person and they want to take it away, let them. I'm not going to change that. But I will not change my growth process, which I perceive is my own growth process.
And that was clear to you at 31 as it is today?
It was clear to me. It was pretty clear to me. I just, till date, and I think I've always been like this, to be honest. I have my ways of doing things, and I like to stick to that. And I'm not adamant and I'm not stringent about it. If there is something good which I feel that it'll enhance me, my character, my kitchen team, my food, I'm happy to absorb. At this age also, I'm happy to absorb, and I think 20 years from now, I'll be happy to absorb.
So you're now present in multiple countries and different, obviously, time zones.
Yes.
You're on a ship. How do you manage multiple structures? And what's the, I mean, is there a process that you follow to ensure that there is consistent quality everywhere? And how do you sort of build a feedback mechanism?
So consistency and the standardization, there are two things which we constantly use and use it to our benefit. And I call it recall process to my chefs, and they hate it. They say we are not machines. But just to tease them, I do that. But I call them back from the ship also, and also from my different places. To here in India, I'm coming myself at the moment, but in Europe, they come back to Banaras Kitchen and train with us for a week, every 3 months, once in 3 months. And that keeps them abreast with what we are doing and how we are doing.
So is this a process that you intuitively developed? Did you see it happen? Did you follow it because it was happening elsewhere?
So part I developed myself, and part I saw what other people were doing, like a lot of other chefs. So they have a kind of, they call it test kitchen or training kitchen, and they constantly develop new recipes and new ideas. We use part technology also. You know, sometimes we connect on Skype and say, guys, by the way, we have come up with this and we want to do this. Try what you can do. We also have to remain relative in wherever we are. So, you know, whatever I'm doing in London not necessarily works in Mumbai or Dubai. So I have to think through all that process as well, and that's where my team comes handy. So I said, this is what I want to do in London. This works for the UK market. Using the same product, what you can do, and then I let the teams come up with their ideas as well.
So let me ask you about, you're also an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So how do you, I mean, suppose I were to ask you, what is the percentage weightage you'll give to being an entrepreneur and being a chef?
I think I still dedicate 70% of my time being a chef and 30% to entrepreneur, but I do see myself dedicating more time to be an entrepreneur as time goes by. And it's purely because I started feeling that I add a lot more value on the top in the policy and the decision making, whereas as everyday cooking, sometimes I'm not as consistent as my line cooks or my chefs.
Okay.
And it happens because I travel through time zones, I pick up different influences, I have different idea, and I have landed up goofing up some classic dishes of my own restaurant. And I was made to change that by my own line cook, the chef. You're not going to do it like that. We'll get complaints on that. People will not like it. Oh, of course. I'm not in Dubai. I'm in London. So I had to correct myself. So I'm not scared of making mistakes or my faults, but I just felt that making company work better, making my people work better, clearing their minds, not letting their judgments get clouded. I think I work at that level a lot better now.
I'm trying to understand, what's the thought process that you apply when you select something or you try and find something new? So is it curiosity which makes you go somewhere? So that could be one. Is it a sense of discovery, saying that, okay, let me find something that everyone knows about, but maybe it's not so obvious now?
So for every restaurant, I do my own research and see what will work and what will not work. So when I was opening restaurants in India, the first thought process was, of course, there will be an Indian restaurant because people would expect that. Then quickly the second process was that, do I want to open a Banaras? Do I want to take really Indian food back? And how I'm going to signify it, how I'm going to tell them what food it is, because it'll be a very generic food. And then I had researched for my book called Curries of the World, all the food that had left India and had become something different. So I thought, that's a fantastic research, I know it works. Why not use that to my advantage?
And you're also building a niche of your own in some ways.
In a lot of ways. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, I just wanted to be ahead of the game. When people are trying to be creative and trying out new concepts, I'm not creating a new concept. This is already there. I'm just converting it for an experience for us. So NRI was born because of that. So that was perfect name. I didn't coin the name. I wish I could take the credit for it, but my designer. So he was trying to understand that what kind of food I want to cook. So when I told him, it's an Indian food, but it's not Indian because it's gone out of India very long ago, and then it's coming back to India. So this food needs to reconnect with its own people. So he said, you are saying your food is Indian, but not really Indian. And he works in India. He's an Englishman, but he works in India quite a lot. So he said, let's call it NRI, which stands for not really Indian. And I immediately loved it. I said, it's fantastic, let's do it. And that's how the NRI was born. Now, Lima, I've eaten Peruvian food for, let's say, for a decade now, living in London and traveling to America. I've always loved this food. And what intrigued me most was, it uses chili, it uses garlic, it uses coriander.
All the ingredients you love.
All the ingredients I love, and all the ingredients that are easily available to us in this country. So I wanted to open a Latin American restaurant, and I kept thinking whether I do Mexican, whether I do Brazilian, or do a mix of that. And then I thought, why not Peruvian? India will get around it very soon, to be honest. A lot of Indians, and when I go to Peruvian restaurants in London, it's flocked with Indians. That's when obviously they are eating this food and they would happily accept it. And that's what has happened. When we opened Peruvian, so initially people didn't get it. But now slowly people are coming around saying, wow, this is an amazing cuisine. And I think Indians are traveling a lot more. People are going for holidays in Peru, to be honest. So all those are working to our benefit. But I do want to explore other parts of Latin America. I just don't want to get stuck in Peru, because I do find there is enough common ingredients between that continent and this continent, so we can actually.
And you were always an ingredient-based chef.
I've always been an ingredient-based chef, so that helps.
Right. So we're running to the end of our conversation, Atul. So if I were to ask you, this is called secret sauce. So what's your secret sauce?
My secret sauce is my curiosity. I'm a curious. Curiosity kills the cat, I know, but I'm still curious like a cat, because I believe that if you remain curious, you will go after it, you will learn, and you will adapt, you will adopt, and you will grow. So curiosity helps to grow, and that's what I'm after.
Right. Atul Kochhar, thank you very much, and it was a lovely note to end on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.